Welcome to this episode of YouTube where I've entitled it Past the Peak. And there's two things that I'm referencing here. One is past the peak where the sun doesn't carry a lot of warmth. By February, the sun is warming up. We're certainly getting more radiant heat out of the sun this time of the year. So we still have some cold weather. We had some 34 below temperatures on Wednesday night. And what wolves do when it's that cold is find a nice, comfortable, insulated spot to rest. And that's why we use the cover hay here. And then the pattern that we've been having is cold, warms up, snows, gets cold, and so we're using a lot of cover hay, putting multiple layers down. Obviously, when it gets covered up with snow, we need to rake it up and be able to bring it back to the surface, and if it's too matted, we put new cover hay down. So the second part that I'm referencing is we're kind of past the peak of some of the more testing hormones coming from Luna and Bolt. And one thing, a lot of you might watch this clip and say, boy, it sure looks like Luna's still doing some kind of testing, but one of the things that we always caution about observers is kind of broaden out your focus and see what's really going on. And in fact, there Luna wasn't doing as much dominance as she was guarding cow hoof that we had fed. So I was at a wildlife meeting all week, and so we fed some new items that we acquired. We were fortunate enough to have a donation from a local farmer that donated a steer, actually, for the wolves, and so Luna was pretty excited about that leg. So again, weather dictates behavior, and so when we have some cold spells or we have some really windy days or some times when the wolves need a little bit of a distraction, we do feed ribs, we do feed bones, something that gives them an opportunity to occupy their time and then redirect some behaviors that may be result of external stimuli. So like I say, with the wind makes them nervous, and they may redirect to each other when you just give them something to focus on other than the anxiety that may be created by external stimuli. So that includes Grizzard too, even though he doesn't have pack mates that may redirect. You know, he likes the opportunity to engage in some of these carcass feeding behaviors, and this was a torso. Grizzard has been getting several different feedings of larger amounts of food, and again he's sharing with ravens, so he can't stop the scavengers, but for the most part he's eating by himself and using the extra calories during these kind of colder weather to be able to maintain himself. But it's good stimulus here to have that rib cage left. So this is typical after a wolf kill, that you may find nothing but the ribs or the spine or something you know, that's definitely been consumed, and these ribs will be chewed on and have the ability to break open those ribs and eat the marrow, and certainly like I said, keep them occupied and be able to get some calcium out of it as well. So like I said, Grizzard's even though he's by himself, he still has those opportunities to guard and possess things, especially from the staff. So as I was raking the bed, moving this rib cage, he took the opportunity to, again, try to block it from me and keep it from me. So even though I have no intentions of eating his rib, he gives him an opportunity to still guard it from something. So that's, like I said, a very common part. All these wolves are fed their natural diet, roadkill, deer, and beaver. In addition to that, we do give vitamin supplements and mineral supplements just in case we're missing something that may be an important component in the wild that they were not getting from a captive diet. But even though, like I said, we feed them an entire carcass with the organ meat as part of it, and we allow them to viscerate it and feed in their natural pattern, just to cover our bases, we make sure that everybody has nutritional supplements, and those are given every morning. So like I say, Grizzard does have 3 areas that he can interact in. What you're viewing here is the front pack holding area. The east side enclosure is to the left. The new habitat's in the back. And when he gets excited, he gets the opportunity to race around all 3 of those areas. So all 3 are obviously much smaller than the main exhibit pack, but combined is about half the area of the exhibit pack. So it's a nice area for him. Like I said, he gets excited about staff coming in and staff interactions, and certainly gets a lot of exercise that way. So sometimes it's hard to keep up with him, and certainly we know on camera he's not an easy wolf to see on camera, although he does like those straw beds on top of his den, and so that we try to keep those bedded, and that's a common place that he'll lay in front of the webcam. But it's kind of fun, like I said, to see Grizzard excited. He's going to be 11 years old in May. Cinco de Mayo birthday, May 5th, he'll be 11, and he certainly doesn't act like an 11-year-old sometimes. He's got more energy than many of the older animals that we've seen at this age. And we're certainly watching to see how he progresses as the golden years approach him. So like I said, right now he's pretty proud. He gets the opportunity to come up to the front of the area, in the pack holding area. He can see the yard. He's definitely very engaged in what's going on in the wolf yard. So like I said, we are in the process of getting ready for another webinar. We actually have a webinar on February 28th. It's going to be an evening webinar. It is a Saturday night. We're actually going to broadcast while we feed in the exhibit pack. So it'll be a full deer carcass. It should be pretty interesting, and it'll be our first time in the wolf enclosure after dark. We do have lights for the feeding, but it will be a direct observation of the exhibit pack feeding. And so that's February 28th. It's on our website. If you have any questions, feel free to email me at curator@wolf.org. That's it for this week. We'll see you next week and hope to see you at the webinar.